Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So we're going to continue our order to cash process review, and in today's episode I want to focus on a very important topic or process for customer refunds or reimbursement. So before we start, I do want to talk about the why and what are the business situations or business scenarios that will require you to use this reimbursement process. And then I'm going to give you a step-by-step demo with an example of customer accounts and show you what you need to do and how Dynamics can help you handle this reimbursement process. All right, so now let's get started. Let's talk about why. Commonly seen some scenarios where you need to use this reimbursement process is number one, let's say I'm BC01 company, I'm issuing some credit notes to my customer. And normally those credit notes are going to be used against the future invoices or existing invoices. So you don't need to actually pay your customer back that actual amount. So reimbursement, right? And in some situation, let's say the customer is calling you 3 months later and say, oh, actually, we will no longer do business with you. And those credit notes, I would like to receive it as a reimbursement. So they want to receive the actual money instead of having a credit note to be used against the future invoices. So this is the first situation. And second very common scenario is, let's say you're selling items to a customer with a total invoice of $1,000. And at some point when you collect that payment, you realize that you received a $2,000 payment. And that gives you a $1,000 difference. So that extra $1,000 is actually an error or a mistake from the customer side. So they call you and say, oh, this is an overpayment by mistake. Can you please generate reimbursement and basically refund that money back, right? So that's also a common scenario. Of course, you may have some other business cases or scenarios that will require you to actually pay money back to your customer. And if that's the case, you're going to use this reimbursement process. I'm going to show you step by step in a second. All right, so now we have covered the first part, why and business scenarios. Now let's deep dive into the different steps we need to perform and how Dynamics can help you to handle that. First, I will show you a live example so we can go to accounts receivable and find my customer account. So I'm going to use this Walmart head office customer account, and we can check the current situation of my customer balance. So I'm opening up all transactions. To limit some noise, I'm going to do a filter and show only the open transactions. So those are my open balances. From here, you can see I have some free tax invoice from my customer, and I have also some sales order invoices generated. So all those are recorded as a positive balance amount. So that means it's sitting on my debit side, right? And at the same time, you can also realize I have a negative balance amount of $300 for my customer from a free tax invoice. So what does that mean? This is typically your free tax credit note you issue to your customer. And as I said previously, common process or practice is you're going to settle this minus $300 against existing customer invoices or the future customer invoice. So you no longer need to pay your customer the actual amount. So to do that, normally you're going to do a settlement and then settle transactions. You can pick this minus $300 and settle against any other open invoices for the moment. Those are the existing ones. So that's one situation, but we're not going to talk about that process because today we're going to focus on the actual reimbursement, pay money back to your customer, right? So if that's the case, a few things you need to do first. One is to create a vendor account associated to your customer account. Let me explain why. So you may have confusion, okay, why I cannot create a customer payment journal and to manage that refund directly from accounts payable, so the customer side directly. And actually, this is a valid thought, but as of now in Dynamics, the current design doesn't give you this type of refund journal, so you can issue that payment to your customer directly from the accounts receivable side. Now, since you need to pay your money back to your customer and the accounts receivable side is handling all the receiving and cash collection, so in that case, you have to switch side to move your customer balance into your vendor balance. That way, you can issue the actual refund or the payment to your customer and consider the customer as a vendor. So that's why the first step, you will need to create associated vendor accounts. Right, so I hope that makes sense. And from there, we can quickly check on my customer accounts. You will have a field to show you the associated vendor account. So basically, if you scroll down, you're going to find a remittance section with associated vendor account. So this is basically the same customer, but we just consider it as a vendor. And you can click on it, that brings you to the vendor side. Now I have already one vendor. I tie it to my customer, but if you don't have it, you can create a new vendor account. Right? Now we have completed the first step. And just a side note here, in case you don't have a vendor account tied to your customer, you can still do your reimbursement process. And if the system couldn't find a vendor account, it's going to put that balance into a one-time vendor balance. So I'm not going into detail too much, but just note that if no vendor exists, we're going to transfer that customer balance into a one-time customer account. All right, so now we have completed the first step. We can move on. And the second step is going to use a batch job to generate that reimbursement, and the system is going to scan all your open customer balances and actually find that credit note and transfer that AR balance, this credit note, into your AP balance. That way you can continue further with a vendor payment to pay your customer back. So to do that, you will come back to accounts receivable and enter periodic tasks. There's one option called reimbursement. So a couple of things here. You can choose to turn on the summarize customer account. And the other highlight is here, more importantly, include customers with outstanding debit transactions. So what does that mean? As I said previously, normally if you have a credit note sitting on your customer balance, you're going to settle that credit note against future invoices or existing invoices. But if you turn this option on, that means, okay, even though you still have other existing invoices and you let the system know, okay, this is the case, I am aware of this case, so please still generate that reimbursement of my credit notes and transfer the balance to my vendor account, right? And in my specific example, you see that I have a 300 credit note. So if I turn this on, that means the system is going to check all my open customer transactions, and it will say, okay, now you do have existing invoices where you can settle against this credit note. But since you check this option on, I will still generate a reimbursement and transfer that 300 balance from AR to AP. Right? So again, you can continue to play with the filter. If you want to generate reimbursement specifically for a customer, you can pick it here. But in my case, I'll just generate like this. And once the batch job is launched, you're going to have a notification, as you see here, to tell you the process and the results. Now you just need to open up that notification bell and then see, okay, I have this message saying the process is complete, and it's going to give me a reimbursement issue number. So in my case, that's 003, right? So now we have completed the second step. So by now, system has transferred that 300 AR balance to my AP balance. Now let's check it out. So I will go back first to my accounts receivable, go to all customers, and again, I'll open up transactions and filter on open transactions. So now from this list, you can no longer find that negative 300 balance, right? That's because that 300 has been transferred to the AP side, exactly as what we expect to see. So now let's go to the AP side and we can confirm that. So I'm going to open up all vendors and enter Walmart. I'm going to check also all transactions. So from here, clearly you see the latest transaction is $300. So this one is actually from my AR balance. And of course, you can check the voucher and see clearly this is from accounts receivable moving to accounts payable. All right. So now we confirm everything looks good, and we can move on to the final step, which is issuing that payment to your customer. But in that case, it's going to be a vendor, right? So you're going to do a vendor payment journal. I'm not going to demo that part. It's standard payment process, but basically you are considering your customer as a vendor and actually pay the money back to your customer through a vendor payment journal. So regular process, create a new journal, and then in that open invoice list, you're going to settle and select that $300 AP balance. Right? So now we have completed 3 steps. Just a quick recap. Number 1, you need to have a vendor account associated to your customer. Number 2, you're going to generate your reimbursement batch job to transfer the balance from AR to AP. And number 3, you're going to come to vendor payment to actually issue that payment to your vendor. So as I said previously, we do have some limitations currently within the system where you cannot issue a refund directly from the accounts receivable side. However, if you're a US customer and you're having SK Global, for example, they do provide options to manage that customer refund directly from the accounts receivable side. So you no longer need to transfer balance from AR to AP. And also a side note, I think in Microsoft Learn, you have some documentations depending on the method of payment. If that's SEPA, I can't remember the number, but feel free to check it out. If that's a specific payment format, you can also do that directly within AR. But what I just demoed, that's kind of the standard reimbursement batch job and how you transfer balances. All right, so that's everything I want to show you today about the reimbursement. Again, please like, subscribe, and let me know your thoughts by commenting below. Thank you so much for your support, and I'm going to see you in the next episode.